This video is brought to you by Knives Ship Free, the best place to buy knives, period. Hi gang, Rob here. It is the afternoon of 25 June 2024, coming on today with a USA-made knife review in conjunction with Knives Ship Free, the best place to buy knives. The knife we're looking at today is one I've been anticipating for quite some time. It's from Benchmade in the snazzy new packaging, and it is one of their water series of knives. Before we get into the box, let's do a pocket dump and a wrist check, shall we? First up today, clipped to the top of the left front pocket from ProTech. It is my beloved TR3 Lefty automatic. Yeah. What a great EDC switchblade. I just love it. In the bottom of the left front pocket today from Great Eastern Cutlery's Farm and Field line is the number 71 bullnose or sod buster with pocket goo all over it. No slip for this one. Wearing my convex edge and a little leather lanyard, which is fitting for today's video because I rather despise lanyards, but I have two knives with just a little stubby piece of rawhide, and it's more for aesthetic than anything else. I think they get in the way. On the wrist today, it's kind of the basic G-Shock square, although not so basic, right? Tough Solar, multiband 6, no Bluetooth on this one. Just a great at the bench watch. I think that's about it for the pocket dump and the wrist check. So let's get into this box, shall we? I'm not sure if this is a water series only thing or if they're kind of going to this theme for the whole product line, but we have a big sleeve, whoa, that houses a big box. Go deeper and some copy. Yeah. And we've got this information card, use and care, life dull guarantee. And then we've got a little box here with a cleaning cloth, and I'm not going to unwrap this, but I think it's the same theme as the outer box. I don't want to mess that up. This is actually a customer's knife, not supplied by Knives Ship Free. But since they carry it and it's American made, we're going to do a KSF review. And then we've got kind of a closed cell foam with a little speaker box carpet. Another reference to the life dull guarantee back there. The knife ships a la SOG in its deployed position, but much nicer packaging than SOG. Whoops, I forgot my info card. Little magnetic flip box. Pretty nice, pretty nice. But you didn't come here for the packaging, you came here for the knife. So this is the Adira, the Mini Adira. I think it's model 18065. Oh, I forgot the axis lock card. Okay, so what do we got here, boys? Water series. Okay, let me get my cynicism out of the way to start with. Two major manufacturers, Spyderco and Benchmade, have either introduced a new series or used on an old series CPM MagnaCut steel. Spyderco is adopting it for their Salt series, Benchmade for its new Water series, maybe a little safer than Salt. So theoretically, whether it's the Salt series from Spyderco or the Water series for Benchmade, they're knives designed to be used around water or salt water. In the past, Spyderco's Salt series has used, I think, 2 steels, H1, maybe 3. There might have been an H2 run, and then LC200N. All extremely corrosion-resistant stainless steels, suitable for saltwater activities. They are now using CPM MagnaCut. Following suit, Benchmade has released their Water series with gobs, I mean gobs, of well-written marketing copy. Rugged, wet, corrosion-resistant. Yeah, but there's just one kind of elephant in the room, and the elephant in the room is that MagnaCut, not that stainless, frankly. A bit better than D2, significantly better than Crewware, but not stainless. It is a near stainless particle metallurgy tool steel. Why put it in a water or a salt series? The answer I'm going to give you is short: to sell knives for high prices. Yeah, you betcha. Were they successful? Well, I don't know about the salt series. I don't know about the rest of the water series. But let's look at what we got here. What we got here is an axis lock folder. No spring assist, no automatic, manual action, axis lock. We got a blade that's very reminiscent of a Griptilian with a little bit higher thumb ramp and maybe a little more drop to the drop point blade. Good looking swedge. You have that ground and tumbled finish on the CPM MagnaCut blade. Hard anodized orange aluminum thumb studs. The blade, 3 3/16 inches. The handle, 4 3/16 inches. Crafted of depth blue grivery is your handle material. Pretty nicely done, I gotta say. Some very fine stippling on most of the surface, and then a nice sharp milled in texture on these sort of faux inlay panels. Those are just part of the mold. The backspacer, kind of a puzzler. It looks like titanium, and it's really nicely done. It might be a smoky, hard anodized aluminum. I can't find it listed anywhere. It could be either of those. But really nicely machined. A partially lined knife, and the liners protrude at the spine with that sort of trademark Benchmade jimping that carries beautifully forward with a seamless transition to the jimped thumb ramp on the blade. Nice deep finger groove for the index finger, and then nice real estate for the rest of the hand. There is a lanyard hole, and this comes with a factory lanyard. Orange paracord with a polymer bead, so it might add to the aesthetic, but frankly, nothing special, and it gets in the way. The clip, tip-up deep carry Parkerized variety, or black oxide as Benchmade now calls it. Nice butterfly stamped into the clip. Great clip. This seems to have more tension than I'm used to seeing on these. One caution about this clip: it works well, it retains well, it carries deep. If you spring it, do not try to rebend it from this bend or it will snap. Do your bending through this section. Don't ask me how I know. The action on this one, pretty sweet. Free swinging, free flinging, blade play, non-existent. Blade centering, well, I don't know, would perfect be okay? Yeah. So, let's see. In hand, it is wonderful. In a variety of grips. Let me do my grips with my left hand because I'm left-handed. Even though I didn't move The clip on Elmer's knife, everything is fine and dandy except the lanyard that gets in the way all the time. Oh, reverse grip is money. All grips, excellent. The pivot is, of course, on phosphor bronze washers, which I think might be a little interesting for a salty knife. Although they don't say salt water, they just say water, those Benchmade. Definitely you have a high vis aspect, which is important underwater with that lanyard. I'm not sure how well the lanyard would do underwater. I will say this, the depth blue and the orange play together very nicely. If you're a Dolphins fan, you're going to dig this knife. See if we can get you a shot of those partial steel liners. And a nicely reinforced, they're very short partial liners, I think you can see. Nice waffle mold pattern in the grivery. Let's see. It still flexes a little. In fact, maybe not like a bug out, but it's got some flex to it. Now let's talk about some other dimensions. First, blade thickness. I measure this at 111 thousandths at its fattest point. The handle is about 5/8 of an inch at its fattest point. So you have a 3 3/16 blade, 4 3/16 handle. So although it is the Mini Adira, it's not a miniature knife. It's kind of a mid-sized EDC. Weighs in at 3.1 ounces. Not quite bug out light, but it's pretty doggone light. One interesting aspect of the design, I think, is that you would normally assume that a knife that's designed to be used in water might have standoff construction instead of a backspacer, but they're either using aluminum or titanium, and I think it adds some rigidity to the knife in sideways movement, which you wouldn't have if you used standoffs. So, and still at just barely over 3 ounces. It's not 1.7 like a bug out, but a little bigger knife than a bug out as well. Still plenty light for what it is. And let's face it, underwater, it probably weighs 1.7 ounces or close, maybe. I don't know. I would say the build quality on this is kind of a cut above most Benchmades. I mean, look at the finishing on the backspacer. Beautiful satin. And I'll guarantee you there were water jet or EDM marks in that backspacer before it was finished. Even the gear pattern cuts, those radii are beautifully finished. I don't know how they did that, but they got down in there. It looks great. And certainly this section of the knife finished to a little higher standard than we're used to seeing from Benchmade. I don't know if they've got a new process going on, but it seems to be yielding some good results. The clip, of course, will be ambidextrous tip up. I will say this. Sounds a little Griptilian-ish. Maybe it's kind of too bad. I kind of love the design. But guys, web retail, Benchmade map price for this knife is $230. Now, just for me, for my money. Now, I realize it's not 2019 anymore. But this should have been, it should have been a $150 knife. So what's the strategy? The strategy is let's ride this Magna Cut horse as long as it is paying the bills. Interesting pairing of Magna Cut and water. I think there are many, many, many steels out there that are more corrosion resistant than Magna Cut, but it gives it its own platform. And I realize some of you in your mom's basements eating orange Cheetos are going to want to argue with me about the stainlessness of MagnaCut. Trust me, it ain't that stainless. Especially if the heat treat is microscopically off. Any soak phase of a heat treat process that allows chromium molecules to have relations with carbon molecules results in chromium carbides, thus detracting from the use of the chromium for corrosion resistance. So, don't know how Benchmade did. I haven't salt spray tested this blade, but I'm just saying there are better steels than MagnaCut for corrosion resistance. However, edge retention and toughness, pretty doggone good. Speaking of edges, you may have noticed there is a glint coming from that edge, and I want you to pay special attention to a couple things. I have sharpened this, and I did it at 17 degrees per side. Do you notice how narrow that edge bevel is? Although it's kind of a mid-height saber grind, it's only coming from 111 full thickness, and it's ground very thinly. So this main bevel is kind of abrupt, but not that abrupt. And the final thickness behind the edge, which I didn't measure, but in my eye, I see a very narrow 17 degree per side bevel, which would indicate it's somewhere sub 20 thousandths. So ground skinnier than a full-size Griptalian for sure. Great cutter. How does it do after it's visited my sharpening bench? Let's see. That's pretty quiet going through, boys. Push cuts. It's good. MagnaCut does take a nice fine edge. It doesn't like a super high polish. It likes a little bit of tooth. I finish it on the Edge Pro on the new, well, not that new anymore, the Diamond Matrix Stone at 950, and then I strap it at about 2 microns. So, yeah, it did well. So what do I think of this overall package? I really like it. I like the aesthetic. I like the colors. I love the blade shape. I love the ergonomics. I love the way the grivery is molded and finished. The lanyard I could certainly do without. The clip I love. As an EDC blade, forget the water hype. I would love to carry that knife. I know there are those of you who like to buy all your pocket knives brand new. I think this might be a time where that's a tough one for me because prices are so high. And I understand these, especially U.S. makers, have people to pay, and they can't pay them $15 an hour because that's for idiots. And I realize everything costs more now. But man, $230 for a grivery-handled 3 3/16 inch bladed Benchmade on an axis lock is a little steep for me. But it is what it is. It is the market of today. Who would have thought a plain Jane Paramilitary 2 with black G10 scales would cost $180? But it does. You know, 5 years ago, would this have been a $130 knife? Probably so. But this isn't 5 years ago. So it is what it is. Right? Yeah. Now, here's the, if you're like me and you're a tightwad, is there a pretty good chance you'll be able to score one of these on the secondary market for a lot less than $230? I think so. Tune in on Thursday nights. But just like I knew when I sold cars for a living, I know this selling knives for a living. There are used knife buyers and there are new knife buyers. That's how Jay and the boys at Knife Ship Free stay in business, and it's how I stay in business. So if you're that guy, like Elmer was, He bought it brand new. He sent it to me to sharpen, even though Benchmade does have their famous lifestyle sharpening program. So we get to see it for this review. And we're happy to do it. So if you're a new knife guy, just go buy one. You're going to be happy with it. If you're puckering at the thought of spending $230 on that thing, well, wait a little. But there are enough of you new knife guys out there that I think Jay will be fine. And if I had $230 to spend and I was a Benchmade man, which I am, I'd probably just buy one, water or no water. But good job, Benchmade, in positioning this knife in the market and the rest of its family. There is a bigger size, a full-size Adira. There are some fixed blades, fillet knives, and the like. I think they all share this depth blue Garivery scale set, and they're all in Magna Cut, and most of them are going to have orange highlights. So did Benchmade hit a home run? I don't know about a home run, because, you know, let's face it, $230, that center field wall is pretty far out there, but I think it's a solid double anyway, even at $230. Tell me what you think. I'd like to hear it. I think I know what you're going to say. Anyhow, that's it for this one. Good effort, Benchmade. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Remember, the word is sharp. If you want to buy one of these brand new, buy it from Jay and Tyler, etc. at Knife Ship Free. I'm going to provide you in the description with my affiliate link, which will take you directly to the Water Series page at Knife Ship Free. You can navigate from there. You can buy an Adira. You can buy anything else from Benchmade once you've used that link to get there, and it will help the channel just a little bit, so I would appreciate it if you do that. Have a wonderful day, my friends. I will talk to you soon.